have, this is the pâte sucrée, all right? And it is a sweet tart dough. This is what it's called. There's an addition of eggs in this, and that's what makes it unique, is that you are actually adding eggs into this tart dough, okay? So we have our butter and our powdered sugar, eggs, vanilla, salt, flour, and baking powder. Now, it says optional, but I always use it because it's a fail-safe. And especially if you're working with students, you know, something always happens. I always like to use the optional, and a little bit of baking powder always helps. Then we move on to the pâte à française. Okay, this is actually a French short crust. It can be used for sweet or savory products depending on your application. Notice though that we only use an egg yolk in this. Okay, we do not use whole eggs. So we have butter, sugar, okay, regular sugar for this one as opposed to the powdered sugar, okay? Salt, egg yolk, like I stated, milk, okay? So this is the addition of milk and our flour, all right? So let me just do this, and we will finish up talking about pâte brisée. Pâte brisée resembles American pie dough, except we add egg to it, right? So we have our butter, egg, flour, salt, okay, and water, cold water, all right? Cold butter, cold water for this one because we are making a pie dough, okay? Notice what I do not have in this one. I do not have any sugar in this one, all right? So we will put these back. So let's start with the actual pâte sucrée. Okay, for this one, we're going to cream our butter and our powdered sugar. So just the regular creaming method for this. We have a paddle attachment. While that's creaming, we want to go ahead and we want to sift our flour and set that aside. Remember to sift all your dry ingredients. Okay, and I'll set those aside, and we're just looking at our creaming. And I need to crank that on a little higher. I always like to stop and scrape down the bowl. Okay. Let's see. All right. All right. As that's mixing, we're going to add one egg. And we're going to incorporate that egg. And it's very important that we incorporate that egg all together first. That way, everything combines. Turn up a little higher if need be. There we go. Okay, I'm going to take that off. You do not want to overmix as well because you can actually start melting your butter and you do not want that to happen. So I'm going to scrape everything down. Okay, I'll scrape everything down. Okay, and that's the consistency that you're looking for before we add that other egg in there. Okay. All right, I'll turn it back on here. I'll add that last egg. Make sure that's incorporated. Looking really nice. Everything is coming together. Remember, in the bake shop, we don't want to rush anything. But we also do have to look for melted product and all that as well, right? All right, then we add our vanilla. We add our salt. Okay, our baking powder. And our flour. All right. And then we just want to combine. We do not want to overmix, right? Just enough to combine. Now you'll notice with this dough, the only liquid that is actually in this dough is the eggs and the vanilla. Oh, it smells so good. You can. Now this dough is temperamental. So if you have a bunch of students overworking it, it's going to start to soften. Just have to watch your over mixing and as well. And I think that is fine. That is a nice consistency on that. All right, so this is the consistency that we're looking for. It's very nice. I will pull everything off of the paddle attachment. And what I will do, get a bowl scraper here and get everything kind of to a nice ball. Okay, and we turn that out onto a piece of parchment, and this is what I like to do for mine. I just turn it out, ball, then I press it down. Okay, and when I press it down, I will stick another piece of parchment on top. All right. And then I wrap it. And so we know that this is our pâte sucrée, PS. All right. And then I will place this into the walk-in or your refrigerator because you want this to chill down at least an hour. Okay, moving right along, we are going to go into the pâte à foncé. Pretty similar to what we have done before. We want to first soften our butter mixture, all right? Okay, so we will get our butter mixture going and soften that. While that butter mixture is softening, we can sift our flour. Okay. Let's go ahead and pull that. And then we're going to add our sugar. And this is just creaming method as well, right? But with this one, I like to get my butter a little softened first. Okay. And I explained to the students that this is same method as you would be chocolate chip cookies. So when we're creaming, I always try to reinforce other skills that they may have learned. Okay. And then with this, we could just put our egg yolk in. Get that incorporated really quick there. Okay. Scrape that. Okay. Then we can go ahead and add our milk. Our salt, and our flour. And we just want to incorporate all the ingredients together. Remember, we do not want to overmix. It's looking really nice. Just going to have to come together a little bit more. Okay, it's looking nice. I'm going to give it another quick couple of turns. Okay, beautiful. And that is what we are looking for. I will do the same thing and turn that out onto my parchment paper. Remove all the dough off of this at first. That looks great. I will turn that out. Press it down. Same thing. And I will place this into my refrigeration to chill it down. And last but certainly not least, we have our pâte brisée that we talked about. So, like I had said earlier, this resembles American pie crust, but it contains egg. This broken dough is what it's called, is used for quiches and any other items like that, but we've used these for quiches before. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna treat this just like pie dough. So we don't need to put it in our paddle. Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and cut the butter like I have done, and I'm gonna mix that with the flour. Get a mealy consistency, all right? And I like doing it this way. The students can actually get a feel for what this is supposed to feel like. They're just not dumping everything into a mixer and calling it a day, right? They're actually getting to work with the product. All right, so that consistency is coming together. Got it nice and mealy. My butter is still nice and cold, which is good. You really have to work quickly but efficiently. Okay, great. So we'll set that aside. Let's get a little bit more butter right here. Set that aside. And now we're gonna whisk together our egg, salt and water in a bowl. Okay, notice that this liquid, the egg in this, is actually mixed in with the water. We're actually mixing this. And then we're gonna slowly add this to our dough, our dry mixture actually, until it forms a nice consistency. This application, I like to use a bowl scraper with it, just to kind of get it in there. We are going to have to get our fingers in there though, but I just want to make sure that the consistency is nice. Looking pretty good. I think out of all of the doughs that I have demonstrated, this one is the most temperamental. So we just have to be patient with it. We have to keep in mind that it will definitely break apart on you, so we just got to push it with our fingers and get it all into a ball, nice and incorporated. Okay, like how that looks. And I'll turn it out on my parchment. Okay. I will label that. And I will chill this. So those should chill for at least an hour. I always find that it's better to do it overnight, chill it overnight, and you come back in the morning and then you can roll out your product. It just depends on what kind of time constraint you're on.